Hi guys, welcome to ayahuasca Our guest today is Damyn from Canada originally, currently in Panama. Damyn was our guest at the retreat in December, about 5 months ago.
Yeah,
And it's
almost exactly 5 months ago.
perfect. And the subject of our conversation today is that Damyn had a little problem with alcohol, or will maybe not that little. We'll go into that in a second. And after attending ayahuasca retreat, the problem seemed to have went away. Welcome, Damyn.
Thank you for having me.
Damyn, first of all, when you came to the retreat, was the alcohol like your main intention, or was it just a side effect?
No, it wasn't a main intention. It was in there, but it also wasn't to quit. At that point, it wasn't. I didn't look at it as a big problem yet, even though I knew at some level, obviously, that it was something that was affecting my life in a negative way. But the way that I worded my intention was I wanted to rework my relationship with alcohol and the reason why I did that is honestly, I never thought I was ever going to quit. I'd ever be able to quit, I guess. So it's more of a excuse me, more of a soft like, all right, like this is something I know it's starting to become kind of an issue. I was still pretty high functioning during that time, but yeah, then I was able to finish it.
Um, Ponla ya, porfa. Sorry, I just received my breakfast, so and so but so it was basically like lowering your expectations, right? I mean, just like not drink that much, and it's better than it's a smart decision actually, because if you ask for something big and then it doesn't come to you, then you can get frustrated, or like it doesn't work. So it's like starting with less and actually getting more. Nice strategy. But how would you describe the way it feels now? Like, because whenever you have an addiction, be it alcohol or something else, you could just choose not to do it, right? And then you feel the desire to do it all the time. But I'm assuming it feels different for you. Like, how can you tell us more about that?
Yeah, definitely. I it truly feels like it changed something in my brain, like on a physical level, because like I'll tell people that and I'll be like, oh yeah, I've stopped drinking. It's been 6 months now. 6 months because I challenged myself not to drink for a month before the retreat. And that was really, really difficult. Um, but yeah, I kind of feel bad when people like congratulate me on that now because I genuinely just don't have the urge anymore. Like I go to bars, I hang out with my friends, I go out, that sort of stuff. And before, like ever since I was 16, 17 when I started drinking, if I saw someone drinking, I was like, I have to have a drink. I had this crazy urge over me. Um, and yeah, it's just literally not there anymore. I it's just not a part of my body. I don't have that feeling.
Mm-hmm. Your alcoholic muscle was alcohol
Mm.
gene was removed. Interesting.
Yeah, I guess.
Um,
Yeah.
from what I know about addictions, and you can be addicted to literally anything. Alcohol is a popular one because it does help really nicely to numb the feeling. So what I've learned so far, addiction is a symptom of pain. It's kind of like when you're in pain for some reason and you feel discomfort, you do something to that helps you get rid of the pain or kind of distract yourself from the pain, that mostly leads to more pain afterwards. So um I currently have, I wouldn't say addiction, but my mechanism for pain right now is when I'm uncomfortable, I realize I go on my phone and I start scrolling through like reels or, shorts and that kind of stuff. And I feel that it kind of distracts me. So, and I noticed, okay, if I'm doing that, then I notice I have pain, and then I can go and like find why do I have pain? What's the discomfort? So it's kind of that's my mechanism now. And Yeah, but in case with alcohol, a lot of times it you use it to run away from pain, but then you feel worse next day, so you get even more pain, and then it becomes this weird cycle. Did you were you able to identify the pain in your life that maybe so
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, definitely. Like during the retreat, my work was all very internal. Like some people they go see other planets and all that kind of stuff, or they're in different places. But all of my work during the retreat was all like inside of me. Like I knew that. To the point even there was one time when well, this was the second retreat, but it was that I thought I was going to kind of blast off, if you will, and I even was like, no, I'm good. Like there's still work here.
Mm-hmm.
um, but yeah, and for me, it was like, I honestly, I've had a very fortunate life. I've been able to travel a lot. My parents are awesome, all this stuff. But for me, it was a lot of the just kind of self hate that I was working on. Um, why that is what it is. Like I'm sure there's lots of reasons and need to kind of dig deep into that. But yeah, just always not feeling adequate. Yeah, not good enough was kind of a big thing. Overblowing the failures I have had, and also looking at the failures as a reflection of my worth rather than just a part of life. Um, yeah, those are definitely all the things. And then also like I get anxious a lot, and but I like being around people. So it is one of those. It was definitely a tool I used for more social interactions, that sort of stuff. One thing I have noticed now, like I'll go out and hang out with friends, but I kind of I get my cup gets full a lot quicker when it comes to people. So I'll usually if I'm going out with people, like I'm gone by like 10, 11 o'clock. I'm like, all right, it's been fun. See ya. Where
Yeah,
before, like I was the last person up, but also the most drinking. So
the social lubricant aspect of alcohol is pretty useful, I might admit.
mhm.
um You mentioned second retreat, right? Damon liked it so much that I think it was 4 months later he came back with his
Yeah, yeah,
fiance.
with my fiance, yeah.
What about her, right? She had her process. How was your relationship afterwards? How does she feel?
Yeah, it was an interesting one. Feels like there's still a lot more work to do, and we're working on that for sure. One thing that's changed a lot was my communication. So essentially, what happened is I did the first retreat. Um, my fiance, she um, really saw what changed in me, how I was interacting with her differently. Like I was, being more affectionate, I was being more present, I was paying more attention to the way she said things, to make sure, I was showing more love, essentially. And so after a couple months of that, she was like, "Well, I want to try this too." It seemed that a lot of things were better with me, and I just seemed a lot better. So yeah, so then we wanted to go. For myself personally, doing it was actually like almost exactly 3 months later. It was that we came back. It was a little bit sooner than I wanted to, but like I knew I was going to do it again anyway, and it was just situational wise, it was we're back in Colombia, so I was like, well, might as well do it now rather than having to
Mm.
wait a year, who knows how long before coming back. So, she was really excited about it.
Yeah, that's a great, by the way, guys, this is a great note on how to, if you want somebody in your life to drink ayahuasca, this is the best way to convince them. As Damon described, he just became such a best version of themselves that she was like, I want that what you're having. Like it's just it becomes so obvious that you have improved that you don't need to say like go drink ayahuasca and stuff like that. It's funny. We like to say couples that drank together stay together, and we're talking about ayahuasca, not not anything else. Because you do like sort of it's not an easy process, but you do grow together and relationship also improves. But there's ups and downs definitely. I noticed that when me and my wife are fighting, a lot of times I just say like, you go drink ayahuasca, like you're not in a good place. So interesting.
Uh, How often
How
does that work out for you?
no, it's kind of like it's the same. It's not a good one. It's the same as saying, just calm down. That doesn't work.
Yeah.
Um, how did you find about ayahuasca?
Just well, so my psychedelic journey or like into plant medicine journey kind of started God, I guess about 4 or 5 years ago now. And it started because actually I was getting really bad panic attacks. And they just kind of came seemingly out of nowhere. But looking back on it now, it's like, yeah, it was a lot of stress. I own a company and I was, again, very hard on myself with all the failures that came with that. So yeah, so I started having panic attacks. And so I was looking into it. I knew I didn't want to, from all the research and people I knew that were on like, prescription medication, I was just not worth the trade-off for me because I was having panic attacks really suck, but they're only happening like once every 2 months or once a month, once every 2 months. But yeah, so I started kind of looking into alternatives, and psilocybin really was a big thing that was coming up there. There also just happened like it seemed to coincide with this kind of new renaissance with psychedelics in general, in the plant medicine in general. So I was like listening to lots of podcasts, listen to Joe Rogan and not Stamos, what's his name? Oh,
Paul
blanking now.
Paul Stamets, the mushroom guy.
Yeah, Stamets. Yeah. Right. Okay. So right name. So yeah, so listening to his stuff, and so I started microdosing actually. Like I wasn't even taking full amounts, but I started microdosing psilocybin, and after 3 weeks, I had this kind of realization, and yeah, and I haven't had a panic attack since, and I don't continuously microdose or anything like that. Like besides ayahuasca, I haven't done anything, any plant medicine for probably about a year and a half now. So um,
And how are
not
your panic
obviously ayahuasca is
attacks?
a big one, but yeah, I haven't had one since then. So
Yes.
yeah, so that's what got me into it. And then obviously as you're looking into that stuff, researching ayahuasca came up, and yeah, we were just kind of in a place. Or yeah, and then so for the ayahuasca, I was looking at spots. I'm currently living in Panama, and we live in north of Panama, so very close to the Costa Rica border. There's lots of retreats up there, and I don't know. I don't have any real reason, but I was just none of them kind of grabbed me, I guess is the best way to say it. And then Nicole and we decided to do this trip to Colombia. I was like, okay, and it was just one of those things. I kind of put it aside. I was like, I'm not going to, worry about the ayahuasca thing for now. And I just kind of looked it up, and yeah, the ayahuasca in Colombia came up. Read the reviews. I was like, oh, okay, and yeah, it just made sense. It literally lined up where we had a 2 week trip, and at the end of the 2 week trip was a 1 week retreat. And I was like, oh, I can just stay an extra week, and it was actually like it's just one of those things that just, hi Adrian,
Oh,
one of
hello.
those things that just worked. Hola.
Thanks. Yeah, it kind of
Yeah.
finds yourself. You find it, and you find the medicine. Medicine finds you as well.
Hmm.
What other benefits, except for the quitting alcohol, did you experience from doing ayahuasca?
I think I don't like I'm obviously not a scientist or anything, so I don't know if this is 100% accurate, but it definitely seems in general that all kind of just dopamine control. So going back to the scrolling through that sort of stuff, I still do it from time to time, but there's I have the thought first where I'm like, okay, why am I scrolling right now? Right? Like it just kind of exactly what you were saying, where it's like you can still kind of get into it, but it's like, okay, am I doing this because like I literally, I have nothing else to do. I'm just kind of hanging out, like, which that, yeah, it's fine, go for it. But
Papa, Papa, Papa,
uh, but yeah,
Papa.
that's
Could you do me a favor, please, and bring him to the kitchen? Sorry, technical issues, guys.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you can
Um,
just catch yourself, I guess, when so it's like I think the personal growth is not about like people think that you will forever be become this perfect thing or something, that the nature will still win, and you will get occasionally like desires to do things you don't need, you don't need to do, or you even catch yourself doing it. But then, as you said, you catch yourself and you analyze, why am I doing it? And then you try and find the core of the problem. Because ayahuasca as well, right? It's not just gonna automatically remove all your pain. It will just show you the problems, and then you process them. So it's just this human sort of growth situation. And interestingly, regarding alcohol, right, and any other behavior, what makes it an addiction is, what makes it a problem is an addiction, and what makes it an addiction is the pain. But like, if the pain goes away, like sometimes you can actually do things that you were addicted to, but not really have the same, don't do it in them in a bad way. It's kind of like, let's say something neutral like food. Food is not bad inherently, but you can get food addiction, and then you get different problems like either bulimia or anorexia, whatever. You get a problem with food. But if you're not in pain, and if you're not using food as your escape mechanism, then you can eat food and be okay. And I'm not saying you need to go and grab a beer, but I think that uh, it's kind of good to come back to that point where a thing is just a thing, and not your runaway mechanism. Um, and then you can like do different things without being addicted to them. Kind of like, because people, so one question, like, have you tried quitting alcohol before, without before you did
No,
ayahuasca? No.
no. Um, no, because like I've done like kind of breaks, like I'll do like a month and that kind of stuff. But the reason I haven't, because I hadn't hit rock bottom yet, essentially. It's actually kind of fun. This is essentially the thought pattern that started all this during my experience was like my dad and both of my grandfathers on both sides, like my mom and my dad's side, were just extreme alcoholics, and but all three of them had to literally like almost completely ruin their lives and probably ruin a good chunk of their life before they had to quit. And so
Mhm.
the thought, like, this came in my head, and the thought was just like, I have a good life. I don't have to destroy it to
Mhm.
to make myself quit this. Like, I can just stop now. So so yeah, because I drank a lot, like a lot, but I've always just been a pretty high functioning alcoholic. Like so it definitely deteriorated some relationships and all that stuff, but it wasn't where it's like, oh, I lost absolutely everything and I had to change. And I think that was obviously the what for me the biggest positive about doing it this way, whereas like well, I've seen how bad it can get if you don't control it. So
Yeah.
yeah, so that was just kind of the thought. And
Well,
then oh, go ahead.
no, I mean, I just wanted to congratulate you, man, because it's a great realization. And I mean, I'm just happy for you, because like, why wait till it's too late, or till you're so ruined, and like, let's say your relationship failed, and then you fix yourself. It's kind of like, after you have all this chronic health issues and stuff like that. I mean, congratulations, man.
Mm,
It's a great, really, really great thing that happened to you. And
yeah.
glad to have been a part of it. I know in the end you did the work, and ayahuasca is just a tool, but really makes me happy, stories like yours. And the reason I wanted to do interview with you is because we recently had few people like this that started reporting the same thing. And one of them, actually, I don't know if I'll be able to get him on, but he said that he didn't even think about alcohol in his intentions, or in the preparation for the retreat. He just noticed, like, months later, that he stopped drinking. And it was like, yeah. And he told us that because we met at while we were traveling. So, and then I remembered about you, because we spoke about it. So I just wanted to record this episode to see maybe some people there that are struggling with alcohol, addictions or other addictions, whatever it is, you can see ayahuasca as a tool, and maybe give it a try, because why are people not drinking ayahuasca, right? Well, some obvious reasons are, you need to travel and it's kind of expensive. Well, our retreat is, I think, is as affordable as it gets. And then another reason is they're just afraid. They're afraid that it's not going to help them, or it's going to make them worse, or it's that it's kind of painful and stuff like that. So that's why we want to sort of get the stories of, as we call, survivors and their progress.
Yeah.
Because it's like you did one retreat, and then you stopped drinking for 3 months, and even if that point you would go back and start drinking again, that's still totally worth it. Like it's 3 months of your liver saved.
Hmm.
And
Yeah,
how many
definitely.
years of life?
Yeah, and going back to that point, I do agree. Like I haven't felt the want to drink again, but I definitely feel that it's like, because of that, I feel like, oh, okay, if I do have a drink, it's not like gonna ruin me. And that's the thing too, because I've spoken to a couple of alcoholics that have really struggled with it, and like that's the thing. It's always over top their head. They're like, if I have one drink, like my life goes back to absolute hell, and it's just like, which yeah, it's so I try not to force anyone, obviously, because everyone needs to make their own decision. And I feel if you do something as big as ayahuasca, because it is a big thing, because you feel pressured to, then I assume it wouldn't be as effective. Maybe it would, I don't know. But yeah, that's definitely one thing that I'm not concerned about. Like if I do have a drink, if I'm like, hey, I think the way I said it, I think to you actually, it was like, yeah, like I'm gonna stop drinking, but mistakes or rules were made to be broken. So if it happens, then it is what it is. But I'm definitely not gonna ever go back to where it was. That's for sure.
Well, let me know how it goes. I do have a feeling, because you got rid of the pain and that compulsive urge to drink. I'm pretty sure you can have a drink or two and just be normal and not want to do it next day. At least
Hmm.
I think that, let's say you go to a wedding and they give you a glass of champagne and you just have it, because like there is a part of it when you really make something completely prohibited, then there's this psychological tension that starts building up. So kind of like it's an interesting way, but I think there is this balance point where the substance is no longer an issue, because you don't have that pain to run away from, and you can really just not saying that alcohol is healthy, but like have a healthy relationship with alcohol.
Hmm.
And like if somebody says like, oh, here's a beer, you can drink a beer, but not really necessarily ask for another one. I think that would be a really great um, point. But it's not, it's your life, not
Hmm.
mine. So, but do let us know how it goes. And worst case, you can always come back, have some ayahuasca.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we'll be back in January. I'm pretty sure that's the plan anyway. So
Yeah, you and your, by that time, probably wife.
uh, we'll see.
Okay.
Planning a wedding in Canada from Panama is
No
a lot.
pressure.
So yeah,
No
we'll
pressure.
see by then.
Why don't you
But
have the
yeah,
wedding in Panama anyway? It's better weather.
yeah, family.
Emily.
Just want to make sure everyone can get there. So yeah, that's the most important thing.
Well, Damon, thank you so much, and thank you for sharing your story. I'm sure it will convince some people here that will listen, that have problem with alcohol, to maybe give it a try, and maybe we can save a couple lives. Just easy as that.
Yeah, hopefully that's the goal.
Thank you, Damon, and uh, it was pleasure hosting you at the retreat. You're a really cool
Mhm.
guy, and it was pleasure talking to you again. It always is.
Yeah, thank you, Sam. Appreciate it.
Have a good day.
You too. Now you got to